case you forgot, about a week ago, Elon Musk posts this: "We expect to build chips," as in AI chips, "at higher volumes ultimately than all other AI chips combined." Read that sentence again, as I'm not kidding. Well, like clockwork, at the time I said every analyst will ignore this except Adam Jonas of Morgan Stanley, who's probably going to start immediately writing a new note. And, well, I don't know who wrote the note here, haven't seen the original source material, but Morgan Stanley forecasts $305 billion chip market just for humanoid robots by 2045. Now, let's be clear. This $305 billion is just the chips in humanoid robots, not the actual value of the humanoid robots themselves. And we're talking $1/3 trillion. So let's continue and read some of the highlights here. Morgan Stanley projects humanoid semiconductor sales will reach $305 billion by 2045, driven by embodied AI and, quote, physical intelligence. He adds, the biggest opportunities lie in AI processors and sensors rather than robot manufacturing. Bill of materials is expected to rise 15% by 2030 and 40% by 2045. Key value areas include AI brain technology, AI vision, and analog sensing chips. Not everyone, however, is bullish on humanoid robots. I've done a search for Tesla as in the stock ticker, new tab, new window, not signed in Google, incognito, so it doesn't know my preferences. This is what anyone searching for my location would see if they search for Tesla. Stock currently $430 a share, market cap, call it $1.33 trillion. And then what do we see? News. Michael Burry on Tesla stock valuation. Michael Burry calls Tesla, quote, ridiculously overvalued in new blog post. More coverage. Burry says Tesla valuation has been, quote, off the charts. Another big short investor, Michael Burry, calls Tesla stock ridiculously, and as we know how that one ends, overvalued. Another expert short investor calls Tesla, quote, overrated. Let's read some of the coverage. I'm not paying for the fucking Substack article. Sorry, not sorry. The big short investor, Michael Burry, criticized Tesla in his Substack newsletter, calling the electric automaker, quote, ridiculously overvalued and highlighting concerns about shareholder dilution. In his Cassandra Unchained blog published on Sunday, Burry estimated that Tesla dilutes its shareholders at approximately 3.6% per year without conducting any buybacks. He warned that CEO Elon Musk's potential $1 trillion stock compensation package would further this dilution. Quote, Tesla's market capitalization is ridiculously overvalued today and has been for a good long time, he wrote. He also included a present value formula in his post suggesting that Tesla's stock is priced on fantasy, not fundamentals, if valuations depend on perpetual high growth and near zero discounting. The investor has recently increased his criticism of technology companies, questioning Nvidia and Palantir Technologies and criticizing the cloud infrastructure boom. He launched his newsletter in November after closing Scion Asset Management and returning capital to investors. Burry gained fame for his successful short position against subprime mortgage securities during the 2008 housing market crash, which was documented in a book and then its film adaptation, The Big Short. He is one of the standouts from this supposed Substack post. As an aside, the Elon cult was all in on electric cars until competition showed up. Hang on a minute, Michael. What competition will that be? You mean the companies that are losing thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on every electric vehicle sold to consumers trying to compete unsuccessfully on price performance with Tesla? You mean the companies like Ford and Government Motors who have announced that they're scaling back and slowing down their electric vehicle plans because, quote, the demand isn't there, yet the world's best-selling vehicle for 3 years in a row is electric, Tesla's Model Y? The competition that even if they've somehow reached enormous scale and high volumes, shout out to BYD, do not yet have their name appearing on the list of companies profitably producing electric vehicles at scale. The only name on that list is Tesla. That's the competition that showed up, is it, Michael? Now, I don't want to appear as if I'm being unreasonable, but Michael here is known for investing. He has a Substack where he talks about investing. He's currently explaining why Tesla's stock is massively overvalued. It's kind of weird, given this context, that there's no acknowledgement that Tesla's the only company on the planet profitably producing electric vehicles at scale. They have the world's best-selling vehicle of any kind, not just electric, for 3 years in a row, the Model Y. They've consistently driven costs of these products down, and electric vehicle startups going bankrupt left, right and centre. By the way, shout out to the most recent example of these, Bollinger. Thanks to the viewer that pointed this out to me overnight. Car manufacturer worth $148 million quietly shuts down all operations after debts piled up and workers went without pay. Remember this abomination? Bollinger Motors. Despite bold promises, turns out when Elon Musk said that prototypes are easy and production is hard and profitable production is excruciating, he may in fact have been correct. So, the so-called competition dropping like flies, and those who are still solvent only so because investors are willing to continue providing capital for their entirely loss-making businesses. So please, Michael, tell us more about the so-called competition having shown up. I've yet to see it. After all, you're an investor, right? We can't pretend that the companies trying to compete with Tesla have sustainable business models, can we? He continues. The Elon cult was all in on electric cars until, allegedly, the competition allegedly showed up. Then, all in on autonomous driving until the competition showed up. And now is all in on robots until competition shows up. Now, as a card-carrying member of and or recruiter for this cult, obviously nothing I say at all is credible. Perhaps Michael's had some previous comments about Tesla, historical comments. Maybe he is credible and I'm not, after all. Did you know that almost 20 years ago, this guy made some money betting against the housing market in the US? Hey, look who it is. A big short investor. By the way, if this didn't appear everywhere, literally Big Short, no one would care at all what this guy had to say. The power of a book and then a film. So anyway, Michael Burry reveals he's short Tesla, tells Elon Musk to issue more stock at its ridiculous price. Back in December 2020. Oh, about $200 a share ago. Okay. Yeah. So it was ridiculous at, call it $200 a share. But wait, there's more. This extremely intelligent investor at that same point in time revealed that he was, in December 2020, $200 a share, short Tesla stock. Note the use of the term ridiculous. He called Tesla at, call it about $200 a share, split adjusted of course, at a ridiculous level. Ridiculous, he said. And then today, same use of the term ridiculous, except stock's more than doubled about 5 years after he was first out there saying not only was the stock ridiculously overvalued, but that he was actively shorting it. Wait, what's this? A month or so later, early 2021. Notice again, leading with big short because no one would care otherwise. Big short investor Michael Burry predicts Tesla stock will collapse like the housing bubble. He adds, enjoy it while it lasts. Stock up, call it 50% since. Can confirm I am enjoying it while it lasts. Anyone remember this? May 17th, 2021. Michael Burry of The Big Short reveals, now I just have to fact check this, a $530 million bet against Tesla. It wasn't actually this value, it was the value of the puts if exercised. So this was massively overstated, but still he was betting against the stock back in May 17th, 2021. So say somewhere around 195-ish bucks a share. What happened in the following months? Up 10%, 20%, 33%. I'm noticing a trend here. 56%, 110%, less than 6 months later. That's the kind of shit that's going to cause financial PTSD. Now, just to add additional context to the falsely stated value of this short position, it was only 8,001 put contracts. By the way, if anyone knows how I can buy put contracts betting against literally anything that Michael is betting against, please let me know. Oh wait, I'm all in on Tesla, I effectively am. Meanwhile, the smiling assassin James Stevenson is having a field day with this. First, posts this. Summing up Michael's position here with a caption, Tesla's going to dilute shareholders by paying Elon Musk to grow Tesla's market cap hugely. So you're long Tesla stock, right? Of course he's not. He's advising everybody that the stock is ridiculously overvalued. If anyone ever needed a case study in what it looks like to be above average in terms of academic intelligence, yet simultaneously absolutely retarded, case in point. James posing some very interesting questions using direct quotes. Number one, how can it be both, quote, ridiculously overvalued, end quote, and, quote, expected to dilute company shares, end quote, with stock Elon can't earn unless he grows the Tesla market capitalization enormously. So congratulations to James for using his fucking brain, and with that grey matter, exercising some logic. You see, if Michael here, who is describing Tesla stock as, quote, ridiculously overvalued, then goes on to say that Musk's trillion-dollar pay package is expected to continue to dilute the company's shares, this is a tacit admission that he believes that Musk will in fact achieve at least some, if not most, if not all, of the absolutely phenomenal financial and operational milestones required to unlock those shares, thus the dilution. So implicit in his statement, his expectation that Musk's trillion-dollar pay package will continue to dilute the company's shares is that Musk will achieve at least some of the financially transformative milestones required to unlock each of those tranches. It seems that Michael's trying to have his cake and eat it too, but this doesn't pass the sniff test. If Michael really believes that Musk's compensation package will, not just once off, but continue to dilute the company's shares, then surely that's a tacit admission that he believes Musk will continue to achieve some, if not many, of the milestones required to, quote, dilute shareholders. So let's take another peek at those operational milestones. Of course, we can ignore the market capitalization milestone, which Michael already believes today is ridiculously overvalued. But these tranches require Musk to not only have one of these market cap milestones, but also an operational milestone to go with it. Pick and choose any of these with one of these. In exchange, an additional 1% owner stake in the company, aka Tesla shareholders getting a small amount of dilution. Let's say he gets the first 50% of these. There's 12 in total. We'll take the first 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Tesla needs to ultimately get to $80 billion in adjusted EBITDA, as well as having 1 million robotaxis in commercial operation, 1 million robots delivered, 10 million active FSD subscriptions, and 20 million vehicles delivered. So let's think about this. The argument that Tesla is just a car company and therefore should be valued accordingly goes out the fucking window if the company has 10 million customers paying monthly for software. I don't know any just a car companies that have that. By the way, 10 million times $99 per month times 12 months a year. It's roughly $12 billion in almost pure profit. Extremely high margin, reliable, recurring profits. What kind of a multiple would you put on that, Michael? What about 1 million robots delivered also with customers paying monthly for software to operate them? Or 1 million robotaxis printing money autonomously, covering their entire cost in year one? But we can ignore all of that as well. Let's just focus on the $80 billion of adjusted EBITDA, which almost inevitably comes from successfully nailing a few of these. For a company that's ridiculously overvalued today, allegedly, to continue to dilute shareholders, so Musk's got to achieve many of these for the continued, not just once off, but continued dilution, $80 billion in adjusted EBITDA. What if we put a very conservative 40 times multiple on that? We end up with a $3.2 trillion valuation. Forget the market cap milestones required to unlock these. We could ignore that because Michael already believes massively overvalued. But how do you value a company that's spitting off $80 billion in adjusted EBITDA, in addition to having extremely high margin, reliable, recurring revenue from these active FSD subscriptions, the robots, and of course, extremely high margin profits coming through from robotaxis? A 40 times multiple on that is extremely conservative. In conclusion, as a cult member who obviously therefore cannot be taken seriously and can't think clearly, I just would like to pose a question. Is it possible that Michael has taken on the identity of the guy who was in the Big Short book / movie, and therefore everywhere he looks he sees ridiculously overvalued companies and a massive short opportunity? Because it seems a little odd to me that somebody who is allegedly, at least marginally above average in terms of intelligence, could not detect the logical fallacy implicit in the claim that he expects that Musk's trillion-dollar pay package will continue to dilute the company's shares, meaning he expects Musk is going to continue to achieve milestone after milestone after milestone, which will directly, enormously financially transform the company and therefore the way you would value the company. I think it is possible that the broken clock has gone full fucking retard. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.